Hello, fellow ink drinkers, and welcome back to the Blind Girls Book Talk podcast.
My name is Aria.
And I'm Belle, and we are two legally blind sisters who love reading and love books. So we decided to make this podcast so we could talk about all the things we love about books, what we hate about books, what we wish we could change, bookish content here and there. We've done some challenges and bad retellings and other fun things such as that. So, with that being said, today we are going to do one of Aria's bad retellings, but this time there's a twist.
Yes, there is.
You want to tell them what that twist is, Aria?
So preface. Both Belle and I are of legal drinking age.
In the United States.
In the United States. We are both adults. And so what we decided to do, since it's the holidays, is to do a drunk bad retelling.
And what are we doing a bad retelling of?
We're doing Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol.
And also, to preface this, Aria is extremely lightweight.
Yes, I have not consumed near the amount of alcohol that most normal people need to get drunk. So this is just me at 2 or 3 not very full, very small glasses of wine and sangria.
Yeah.
That tasted like bad.
It tasted like bad.
Yes.
Oh boy, that's what we're in for today.
Yes. So grab a drink if you are of legal age, and if you are not of legal age, grab a non-alcoholic beverage.
Yeah, grab some sparkling juice of some sort, or hot cocoa, tea, coffee,
Ooh,
whatever
hot
your
cocoa is the best. Yes, whatever
your drink of choice may be, and listen to Aria's drunk rambling and my very coherent summaries.
Belle has also consumed a little bit of alcohol, but she has a much higher tolerance.
I do. I am on my second full glass of blackberry wine, and I am totally fine.
Yes, and we decided to do it this way, so at least somebody's somewhat sober. Because I am not.
Oh boy.
Okay, but anyway. So, bad retelling of A Christmas Carol. Spoilers, you're warned. So, A Christmas Carol. Once upon a time, there was a dude named Scrooge. Now, Scrooge, his job is a moneylender. He's like a bank, but just one person. And then people have to pay him back. However, Scrooge is kind of a mean person. He doesn't care if people don't have the money. He just wants the money. And if they don't give him the money, he kicks them out of his houses. Because I think he also owns houses too. Anyway, Scrooge also had a business partner. His name is Marley, but he was dead at the beginning of the story, so no one really cares. Okay, now we open up onto the story. Scrooge is sitting in his office, and it's around Christmas time, and Scrooge hates Christmas, so he's a bah humbug all the time, and I fully endorse that statement, because bah humbug, I don't like Christmas. Then, while he's in this office, he gets 3 visitors. One of them is his nephew, because he has a sister. We'll talk about her later, maybe. And nephew comes in, and he's like, "Merry Christmas, come eat with me and my wife." And Scrooge says, "Bah humbug." And then he's like, "Okay, fine, bye." And there are some dudes that they want to do a collection for charity. And Scrooge is like, "Absolutely not. No, nobody needs charity. Bah humbug, and all the poor people should die," is what Scrooge says, which is not right. And then there's somebody else that comes to visit him, but I don't really remember who that is. But Bob Cratchit is also in the office this whole time. And Bob Cratchit is Scrooge's assistant. He has a family. We'll talk about them later. So, that night, Scrooge goes home. He gives Bob Cratchit Christmas off. He doesn't want to, but he does it anyway. Scrooge goes home, and his door knocker, which is like a lion or something, turns into Marley's face, his dead business partner. So he's like, oh my God, this is insane. And he freaks out. So he goes up to his room. He like walks up the stairs, and he is like, oh, I just have indigestion. That's what it is. I'm working too hard. I have indigestion. That's why I'm seeing my dead partner's face in the door knocker. Well, turns out he goes to bed and Marley becomes like a full-on ghost and tells him like, hey, look at all these chains that I have. I was a jerk like you, and like because of that, I have to wear these chains and carry them around now. But because I'm of a ghost, I have one wish. And my wish is to try to get you on the right path so you don't have to carry all the chains. So Scrooge is like, well, how the heck you going to do that? Well, actually more, he's like, what the heck is going on? Like the whole time. But in my head, Scrooge is like, well, how you going to do that? Now, Marley says, here's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to send you 3 ghosts. They're going to come on the hour. And they're going to teach you a lesson. And you're going to learn that lesson and you're going to get better. And Scrooge is like, fat chance, but okay. So Marley floats off into the distance with all the other crazy ghosts who have wishes. Where did that come from? Anyway, all the crazy ghosts who have wishes, they float away. And Scrooge is like, yeah, I definitely have indigestion. I'm going to bed. So he does. Now, on the hour, I think that hour is midnight. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm pretty sure. Midnight, all of a sudden, Scrooge is awoken by Big Ben chiming, and he sees a light. And he's just like, the heck is going on? Well, turns out it's like this little, like, floaty, glowy, ghosty goo. And the little floaty ghosty goo says, hi, my name is the Ghost of Christmas Past. I'm going to show you all the Christmases you missed out on in your past. So the ghost transports Scrooge back in time because ghost magic. So they get to the past, and it's when Scrooge was a little boy in school. And like all of the other little boys are just like, yay, it's Christmas. And Scrooge is like, no. I ain't got time for that Christmas. I'm going to study. Now, his little sister comes running in, and his little sister's like, brother, I've come to take you home for Christmas. And so, like, you're going to go to Christmas with me. And Scrooge is just like, okay, fine. Because he actually loves his sister and, redeeming qualities. That's nice. Now, after that, they flash forward a little bit. It's still in the past, but it's like, he's jumped up from a little boy. Now he's like 21 years old or something. And he is at his first job, and his first job was with this dude named Fezziwig. Now, Fezziwig, he loved Christmas, and he was just like a really nice dude, like all the ways around. And that at that job is where Scrooge met Marley. So, like, he gets to see young Marley and young himself and old but young Fezziwig, because I think Fezziwig's like dead or something, but who knows? And so Fezziwig is like, I have this party, and he's like, thank you all for coming, and let's enjoy the party. And everybody's like, yeah, party. So while they're at this party with Fezziwig, Scrooge is like trying to work, but Fezziwig's like, no, friend. Actually, that might just be the Muppets, but who knows? So
Are you legit going off the Muppets A Christmas Carol right now?
I think my brain went there a little bit.
Oh,
but that's
no.
Okay. It's okay. It's close enough. I'll get there. Don't worry. So I was the narrator of A Christmas Carol, by the way, when I was in like 5th grade. It was my biggest role, my best role. But anyway.
It actually wasn't, but that's okay. Continue on.
Anyway, moving on. So Fezziwig is just like, oh, Scrooge, hi. Hey, I have this like relative or friend, and her name is Belle, and I would like you to meet her. And so Scrooge does, and he kind of like instantly falls in love with her because why not? So now he flash forwards a little bit more. We're still in the past, but like a couple years down the line. Belle and Scrooge were engaged and Scrooge actually has a heart. But then Scrooge is just like, we can't get married because I'm too poor. I need to make money before I can get married, which, like, that's kind of a smart way to look at it, but also not.
Well, it was also not normal time. Like, money was really everything back then. Well, it's still everything now, but back then it was also you get married very young.
I guess. Who knows? So Scrooge is just like, I don't have enough money. I need to make money. And Belle's like, listen, you've been saying that for the past 5 years. And I actually want to get married and I love you. And Scrooge is just like, but I need to make money. And Belle's like, well, you love money more than me. So I'm breaking up with you. And so she does. Now Scrooge is sad because he lost the love of his life. So he tells the Christmas past spirit, I don't want to see no more. I'm real sad. I'm big sad. And the Christmas past spirit is just like, well, I mean, it's your own fault. And then it takes him back to his room. And he wakes up and was like, wow, that's a weird dream. So he goes back to sleep. But 2 minutes after he goes back to sleep, it's 1 o'clock in the morning and the bells chime again. So that wakes him up. Now, again, there's more light. But this time he goes into the other room, and in the other room there's this big dude who looks like Santa Claus, but not white hair, brown hair.
Arya, I think you're going with the Muppets.
No, I remember in our play he wore a big robe too.
I mean with the hair, sweetie.
Anyway, who cares? It's the same thing. The Muppets got most of the stuff right. Except they're Muppets.
They're Muppets. Oh boy.
And no cheeses for us Mises.
You okay? I think she's crying.
Okay, anyway, I gotta continue on. I gotta soldier on. So this guy is sitting in Scrooge's living room, and he also has a bunch of food and candles and garlands, and he's very, very festive. He's a very festive man. And this man is come in and get to know me better, man. And and Scrooge is like, who the heck are you? Why are you in my house? And the ghost, because he's a ghost too, obviously. And he's like, I'm the ghost of Christmas present. I'm going to show you around. And so he says, come touch my cloak or hand or something. I don't know. He tells him to get over there. And he takes him around London at Christmas time and shows Scrooge all the merriment that is happening at Christmas time. And everybody's having the best time. And Scrooge is just like, okay. And then he takes him to Bob Cratchit's house. Now, remember how I talked about Bob Cratchit? Yeah, Bob Cratchit is Scrooge's assistant. And he has a wife and 5 kids. And the youngest kid, his name is Tiny Tim. And he's really sick and he carries a crutch. I'm not sure exactly what's wrong with him, but there's something, obviously, because he's carrying a crutch.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I'm not laughing about Tiny Tim because that's actually really sad. I'm just laughing in general.
Let me also preface, Arya drunk or even tipsy is very funny. She said some hilarious things that just live on in anybody's memory who was with her at the time.
Yes. Anyway, so back to Tiny Tim. So Bob Cratchit, well, actually, back up just 2 seconds. So Mrs. Cratchit, I don't know her real name. I don't think she has one.
She does.
Is it Martha? No, that was my character in 4th grade. That's his daughter. Anyway, who cares? Her name is Mrs. Cratchit. And she has a bunch of kids, and they're all getting ready for Christmas, and they're all cooking and stuff. And Bob went with Tiny Tim to church. And so they're getting ready and they're doing all of the things. And then all of a sudden, Bob and Tiny Tim come back in. And Bob was saying that Tiny Tim was the best in church. And he's actually this little cute little cinnamon roll boy that you don't want any harm to come to him. And so then they do a feast. Well, it's not a feast, but like they have dinner, and they have the best dinner that they can, but they're also like really poor. So like, you know, it's not like the top tier echelons of dinner, but like it's still a good dinner for poor people. And so then everybody's like still kind of mad at Scrooge, like even though he's paying their bills kind of, or he's giving them the money to pay their bills, like they're still kind of mad at him because like Bob Cratchit should be making a lot more money than what he's making, but he has to take this job because it's the only job available. He can't get another job elsewhere, so he has to put up with the bad treatment and the low pay, which like I feel Bob Cratchit on this. So anyway, so they're mad at Scrooge. But Scrooge is like, oh, well, I guess I could give him more money. Like, he kind of starts thinking that. Then they go to his nephew's house. Now, his nephew is having a party with all of his friends and his new wife. And, like, they're having a good time. And then they play charades. Or no, it's not charades. It's like 20 questions, kind of. But I think it's also charades. Like, it's both. And so he ends up using Scrooge as like a guest, but they're always saying like, or as his answer, but they're saying all of these bad things. And so Scrooge is like, wow, I'm really kind of a jerk person. Maybe I should change that. Now, as the night has been like going forward, the Christmas present ghost, he's been aging. Like he's been getting like gray beard and gray hair. And so at the end of it, Scrooge is like, why are you old? And he's like, because I'm only the present. Like, I get old, and then I'll, like, join my brothers. I don't think he has sisters. I think it's only brothers. I join my brothers in death. And Scrooge is just like, well, okay, but, like, how can I help these people? And he's like, well, you can't. You already said you didn't want to help the poor people when the other people came to get the donation. Like, if they're supposed to die, then they should die, is what you said. And, like, you know, that's not okay, dude.
I'm surprised you never mentioned our favorite quote.
I don't have the mental capacity for our favorite quote right now. So now, the second hour has happened. Scrooge wakes up in his house again, and he's like, wow, this is a really, really weird dream, but okay. So I'm going to go back to bed. Now, I think it's 2 a.m. or it's 3 a.m. Who really knows at this point? But the clock strikes, and Scrooge gets up. And he's just like, and there's like a dude that looks like a Grim Reaper just standing in his house. And Scrooge is just like, are you the ghost of Christmas future? And the ghost like nods his head. And he's like, are you going to show me stuff? And the ghost like nods his head and like holds out his hand. And Scrooge walks over and takes, I think it's his hand or his sleeve. Who really knows? Irrelevant. So the ghost takes him to the future. Now, when he gets there, it's like a really rainy Christmas day. And there are some businessmen who are just like, dude, this really rich dude died. And like, I only want to go to the funeral for the free food, pretty much, because nobody else cares. And Scrooge is just like, okay, who they talking about? But the ghost of Christmas future, he's not answering. So they just kind of keep walking on. And now there's also some random people who like stole some stuff from this dead guy's house. And it's like sheets and curtains and like silver, like who knows. So they decided, hey, I'm going to sell it. And so they take it to this pawn shop. The dude is not a spider dude because that's the Muppet.
I would hope he's not a spider dude.
That would be really cool, and that would make the story so much better if he was a spider dude.
No.
But he's not a spider dude. He's an actual man. I think he's kind of like Fagin. Do you know Oliver?
Off track there, Aria. Off track.
Anyway, we'll go back on track. So they're just like, I have these beautiful bed sheets, and they're like, they're still warm. Then they're like, that's the only warmth this man ever had in life. And he gives them money, and Scrooge is like, well, who is this guy? And Christmas future, the ghost, he's still not talking. So then they go to Bob Cratchit's house. Now, everybody at Bob Cratchit's house is sad. And they're sad because Tiny Tim had died. And that's very, very sad. And poor little cinnamon roll boy, he died. And that's not okay. So Scrooge was like, didn't anybody do anything about this? And like, again, future ghost is not talking. So finally, Scrooge is just like, okay, who is the guy? Who is the guy that they were talking about, the businessmen were talking about, and that the people stole his stuff? Like, who was that? So the ghost takes Scrooge to the graveyard. And at the graveyard, he points to a tombstone, and Scrooge goes over, and he, like, wipes it off because it's, like, covered in mud and snow and maybe horse poop. Who knows? And why? Scrooge sees his name on the tombstone. Now, that is a shocker that everybody saw coming. So Scrooge is just like, can't I change this? And like the ghost is still not talking, but Scrooge is like, you know what? I want to change this. Like, I don't want this to be my life. Let me, like, give me a sponge and I'll just wipe off this writing and, like, everything's going to be better. Okay? Like, can we do this? And the ghost says nothing, but he wakes him up. Oh, like, he sends him off into the dreamland abyss, and Scrooge wakes up in his bed. Scrooge wakes up in his bed, and he's just like, okay, like, yeah, I'm going to change. I need to change. What day is it? So he opens up the window, and outside of the window, there's a little boy on the street. And Scrooge is like, hey, little boy, what day is it? And the boy's like, it's Christmas. And Scrooge is like, thank goodness, it's Christmas. I can fix everything and change everything. And like, Marley used his wish to the best. And like, I'm going to make things better. And so he gives the boy money. And he says, go buy food and go buy a goose. And the boy says, okay, I'll do that. And so he takes off running, and Scrooge is like dancing around and is like all super happy, which, like, you know, if you have a life-changing experience like that, like a good one, like, you know, I'd be happy too. So he gets dressed and he tells the boy to take the food to Bob Cratchit's house. And so he does, I guess. Like, nobody ever really hears about that, but like that happens. And so then Scrooge goes to his nephew's house, and the nephew is like, what are you doing here? And Scrooge is just like, I'm here for the party. Can I stay? And he's like, yeah, you can stay. Of course. Here's my wife. Like, come in, drink my wine. Yeah. Anyway, so the next day, Christmas passed. It's December 26th, because that's the day after Christmas.
It is. Good job.
So Scrooge gets in early because he's got like, I'm gonna Trixies. I'm gonna pull Trixie Hobbitses on Bob, not Bilbo, on Bob.
What the heck?
Anyway, so Bob comes in, and Scrooge is like, I told you to be here. And Bob's like, no, you didn't. Like, and Scrooge is just like, blah, 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 blah. And Bob is just like, no, dude, like, you like, I'm doing my work. I swear, I'm trying, like, I'm doing the things. And Scrooge is like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to raise your salary. And Bob's like, record scratch? Wait, what? And Scrooge is like, yeah, I realized I'm a jerk, and I want to help you and your family, and I want to help Tiny Tim, and like, because he's a cinnamon roll boy.
Can you please stop using that?
No. Anyway, he says, I'm going to help your family, and I want to be besties. And Bob's like, oh, okay. If you're going to give me more money, then sure, we'll be besties. And so essentially the way the story ends is that Scrooge became like the best man ever, and everybody loved him. And everybody, like, worshipped the ground he walked on because he was an awesome person. And he made donations to the poor, and he tried to help people. And he became a second father to Tiny Tim, the little cinnamon roll boy. And so, as Tiny Tim observed, God bless us, everyone.
Oh, boy. Okay, well, I feel like everybody knows the story of A Christmas Carol, so
unless you watch The Muppets. You get the whole story. It's just things are a little bit different.
But still, everybody knows the general premise.
Or Scrooged. I haven't seen that movie, but Bill Murray's in it. I don't know that I like Bill Murray.
Oh boy, you're gonna have so much fun editing this.
Yep. Okay, so that's the story. Round of applause. You're not clapping.
Would you like me to clap?
No, it's okay. Okay, well that's it. Okay, well, so that's been a drunk retelling of Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol. We want to thank you for coming along and listening to my drunk ramblings, and I hope you find them funny because I do too.
we noticed.
Yep, it's very funny. And so hope you enjoyed it. Hope this got you in the Christmas spirit and the Christmas mood. I hope that you're not like Scrooge because like I'm like Scrooge and like there can only be one Scrooge.
You're like the Grinch, not Scrooge.
Oh, that's right. I like the Grinch better. But anyway, if you like this and if you like listening to this and us talk about the things, share it with your friends and maybe like leave a review or something. Like, and if you don't, hey, like it's cool. No pressure. Like, you know, but a drunk girl would really, really appreciate you doing that.
If you also want some more content from us book related, please follow our Instagram at Blind Girls Books.
Oh yeah, we do have an Instagram.
Yeah, we do.
Wait, it's in. Oh, there's a footnote. There should be a footnote with the episode that says that you could like email us and you can find us on Instagram. Go to that.
Yeah,
and it'll show you the name. So yeah, that's it. And what are we going to be talking about next time?
We're going to be talking about book subscription boxes.
Oh yeah, that'll be fun. I liked that episode.
Can you tell we filmed out of order?
Yeah, we did. Hey, we always do. It's fine. This is fine. Everything's fine. So we'll see you guys next time. Hope you have a good day. Bye.
Bye.